Hello everyone, it's DuckFaden07. It's time for another video. Okay, this time we're playing Boomer Junt. This version of Boomer Junt is slightly iterated than the usual version. Okay, so the biggest change in this version I'm playing is no Tarmogoyf in the main. And I will talk about this right now. So, the current metagame on MTGO right now is like 60% Breach decks and Murktides. I really wanted a deck that can play Hidetsugu in the main, but not just Hidetsugu in the main. I wanted to be able to pack another additional graveyard hit in the main board, like Doughty White Walker or Endurance, or even both, like in this version. Okay, so this was my intention to build a deck playing Hidetsugu in the main and some Doughty Void Walkers, maybe Endurance. So I was thinking like Red Black Rock, some version of Red Black Rock, or I think this version Boomer Junt is a better fit for playing both Hiretsugu and Doughty in the main, because in the Red Black Rock I would definitely want to play um, some one drops. So I think this version takes it much easier, and also I'm able to play Endurance in the main. All of this means that. I really can't play Tarmogoyfs in the main. We have few Goyfs on the sideboard. It can still be very good in a lot of matchups where I'm taking Endurance, Doughty, Hiretsugu out, or maybe just some of them. Doughty can still be in, of course, and Goyf can be good with the Doughty in the play, but it's really the Hiretsugu that slows it down the most, and you'll definitely want to bring Goyf in the games you're bringing Hiretsugu out. Uh, and in those games, you're probably bringing Endurance out too. Dotty, maybe, maybe not. But okay, that is like the main idea. So other than that, we have some typical Boomer John cards, and I've been having very good success so far with this list in the leagues. So I have also some specific choices for the main board and sideboard. Like there's a lot of planeswalkers, so we have 3 Ren and 6, 2 Grist, and the 3 Lily of the Vale, and all of them have been performing really good. Um, Especially uh, Lily is very good when paired with Ren, and when you're playing with the top of your deck, and like in old school Jund style. And this strategy is still it's not a tier one like it used to be, but this is very playable. This is very playable strategy, and I had a great success in the few leagues I played with it. And I've done a couple of 4-1 leagues. I will just go through the one that was closest to the 5-0 and had some exciting matches in. Okay, so this deck has Doughty Void Walkers in, so we have to be able to pay a double black mana on turn 2, then often be able to pay double black mana on turn 3, but also double red mana and double green mana. So it's not ideal, but this Jund mana base is pretty good, and you often you have access to the triumph now, and in most situations you're able to cast everything. You're able to cast Endurance and Pyro and Lily and Doughty all on the play. Of course, there will be games where you have to be where you have to go for basic, or where you have to go for another specific land, or you just fail with your fetches. But if you're careful, it can be done. All can be cast in a pretty consistent manner. Okay, so that's it. Okay, on the sideboard we have additional Hiratsugus. This card is so good right now. Hammer Time, Shadow, Grixis Shadow especially, and Prowess variants and Rhinos. This card just destroys so many matchups, scales, affinity, whatever. Okay, so only one Chalice of the Void, so we have Hiratsugu's in, so for the Rhinos matchup, so we don't actually need it that much, but it's still good. Living End is not played that much, but we also have Hiratsugu, Endurance, and Deity Void Walker in the main, so we don't need second Chalice, and nobody plays the third Cascade deck anymore. So we have two Goyfs in, as I already mentioned, for those matchups where you're taking out the Hiratsugus. Veil of Summer is not great with Bloodbraid Dove, so you got to sometimes be careful, maybe take one elf out when you're boarding those in. You don't want to cascade into Veil of Summer, definitely, but um, it's just two cards, and it's very good against Grixis. It's good against Jund. It's good against Scam. So if you're on the play and if you're able to put a land in, then you can play Veil on your opponent's turn, trying to cast Grief on you, and that just wins games. It's a very good card. Definitely want to have two on the sideboard. Obsidian Charmhouse have been overperforming for me in these few leagues I played. It's such a good card right now with many Tron players around. Urza Saga, Amulet Titan, uh, and many others really. So there are really just a lot of situations where you can board in Obsidian Charmo and cast it for 3. When you cast this for 3 mana, it's really strong. Okay, so second Boseiju on the sideboard. Two more Endurances on the sideboard, two in the main, so additional Graveyard Hate. So many Graveyard Hate. I really decided with this version I won't be losing to Graveyard decks, and that's what I dedicated this deck too. So I decided I don't want to lose against breach decks, and I want to win against Grixis Shadow. I want to win against the Proves. I want to win against Murktide, and that's what I've been doing. So with a really good success, I have two tier Sunders here as addition to Boseiju. It can be a very good removal. Um, for Blood Moon, also I like this Exile Clause. It can be used on Kaldra to exile it. With if you pay 4 mana, you can exile any permanent, not just artifact and enchantment. So it's versatile and pretty nice card to have on your sideboard. Okay, so that's it. We are going to go through the matches. Through one league, I think I was closest to 5-0, and okay, so I think this is it. I think this is it. We'll watch the wins first. I'll go from the last game. Okay, so playing second, keeping a decent hand. Bolt Totsis, Grist, Lily, Elf, very interactive. I have some early spells to play here. Okay, so I go for Totsis. I take my opponent's Grist. It's most problematic card in this matchup. I have my own Grist, of course, but I really can't let this stay around. Okay, so they play a Chord and go for Grist. But but I was able to they kill my Ren, but I had another Ren to ping their Grist and then bolt the young wolf, and my opponent conceded after that. That was very quick win against Yagmot. I just had a lot of going on in the hand and controlled my opponent really good. Okay, so again, not much early interaction, but my opponent was slower too. I expected that, so they went for Yavimaya here. I discarded the Geist. So I just wanted to wait if they play anything. They didn't. So I just cast my Grist, start making 1/1s. Grist is just so good in the mirror. It's good against me, but it's also very good when I have it. And I'm able to like bulk this guy endurance next turn, but I decide against it. I just go for my first Lily and start discarding cards from their hand. So they discard the artist. I know they're going to play the endurance. They don't have anything else. Just to go for the throat and one mystery card in a hand at this point. But unfortunately, they top deck the Agmot. They go for attacks, but I block that, and I'm able to get rid of everything. So I sack a token to destroy the Agmot first. They don't sack anything in response. I had I minus the Lily, and they had go for a drought in hand, so that meant one of these plant workers is going to die, but that's fine. They're just one card in hand now. I still have one of my plant workers on the field. Drew into another one. So two endurance in hand. So pretty good situation for me. My opponent is now on 0 cards. I'm on 3 and have Lily. Of course, I just play the endurance to block opponent's endurance. So a pretty favorable situation. My opponent can always top deck top deck Yagmoth with this few creatures in the play. He can just draw into many more. So, but I'm still good. Obviously, Grist, Lily, blockers for this. So I just decide in this situation I'll clear everything, and I didn't cast the Totsis. I think I accidentally skipped the attack here or something. Okay, so I just used the push here, so I I can plus the Lily, and then I can always use Lily next turn if they draw some good creature. They did draw it, and I decide to immediately kill it, start attacking for 6. If they draw a threat, I still have Lily to get rid of it. So pretty good situation. Classic for Junt attacking with Lily on the field. Okay, so basically that's it. Just had 2 more attacks, finished my opponent off, and that was a win against Yagmot. Okay, so let's go on to the another match. Okay, again playing second, but pretty good hand. Two Totsis, two push, run and six. My opponent revealed Kahira. I top decked Dati. Pretty bad hand from my opponent. I discarded the Archmage Charm. They had just lands and verdict in hand, so I went for Ren and 6, but unfortunately my opponent was very lucky here. They top decked a counterspell for my Ren, which was really crucial for me in this situation. I didn't have a third land to stick Grist or Doubt in this situation. Both of those would be pretty good. Okay, but still, I just needed that third land to start doing something. So my opponent just had a verdict, two lands in hand. So I just stick to Grist. I didn't have to do anything. I just plus my Grist, attack with my tokens, and yeah, that's about it. I play my Grist, Lily. I made my opponent sick creature, two planeswalkers on the field against control deck. Pretty good situation. I was struggling with lands, but I didn't really need them that much, so I was able to start plussing the Lily. Grist was already on 7, which means they have to use the verdict. But I have multiple threats. They had ending for Grist, but still it was too good a situation for me, unlosable. I just continue attacking with my tokens. I still no use to play. Okay, so my opponent played out everything, 0 cards in hand. I had multiple other threats in my hand, so I was in no hurry. They went binding on the Lily, and I attacked for 3, presented lethal for the next turn on the board with a bolt in hand. And that was it. That was game 1. Very convincing win against blue-white control. Okay, game 2 not as great. Starting hand as first game, but decent anyway. Inquisition was a good draw. So I was able to. Uh, so in this situation, I definitely take their counterspell because my plan in this situation is to resolve the Renin 6. Renin 6 is a very strong threat against the blue-white control. It's not easy for them to get rid of this. Okay, so next turn I also resolve the Grist, which is obviously also very good, and I'm able to bolt the Fairy. So pretty bad situation for my opponent. Ren is already on 6, Grist on 5, making these tokens. They draw well actually. So but my hand is just too good for them to deal with it. They have so many things to deal with in this situation. I actually had 2 Bossages, which was perfect for their 2 Leyland Binding hand, so I just went a Bossage on first Leyland Binding, targeting my Grist, and had a second Bossage for another one, but still I had mana left for the bolt if needed to if they had something else, but they didn't. So I just used my grist ability to get rid of the fairy so I can attack on face, present lethal sooner. Okay, so I just went for my to play my opponent's Teferi with the Doughty, and my opponent concedes. That's it. Okay, that was game one. Sorry, game two against my blue-white control opponent. Pretty quick wins. Planeswalkers kind of demolished them. Okay, so in this situation, first time playing first, having decent. I drew into Brennan 6, so I played this. Uh, so it was very good for me to discard the land and then get it back with Bren because I didn't have a fetch in this situation to use it. So it was pretty good, pretty good. So I was able, I definitely wanted to get rid of this Ashiok. Unfortunately, it cascaded into Fatal Push, which did nothing. So I just pinged the Ashiok to get rid of it, plus the Lily. Again, land to the graveyard, then get it back next turn with Vren. So my opponent concedes. This game is definitely over. My opponent was on a black green card the lion deck. Okay, so they played the interplanar beacon, so I didn't have much to bring in. So I decided to bring in the wheels and the Charmouse. Charmouse is pretty good when you can play it for less mana, and the 4 mana, a 4/4 flyer that destroys the land. A pretty good hero already. So I fetch before the Ashiok hits the field, then you use the wheel to draw another card upon the ability. Okay, I had multiple options here. I decided to go for the Lily, just to get rid of the Arbor Elf. So in this situation, I can go Bolt on the another Arbor Elf and Lily on the card. So that was my plan. Okay, my opponent goes for Karn. I don't really care about Karn too much. They just went for Ballista. Uh, uh, I was able to kill Karn with my elf immediately. So I just continue plussing the Lily. Again, pretty good situation. For me, my opponent has Dam and the Ballista, but it's kind of so I decide to minus the Lily to get rid of Ballista immediately, and then I play the Charmau. I play the Pyro. Uh, have Raging Ravine on the field with another Lily in the hand, so pretty unwinnable at uh, at this moment for my opponent. So they concede. That's it. Uh, Win there too. All 2-0 wins, pretty convincing wins and easy wins. I just had everything too much for my opponent to deal with. Okay, so again, playing second, so played first just one time. In that situation, I had a decent start with Totzi's Inquisition. My opponent goes Spell Pierce. I think this was a Murktide matchup. I resolve my Renan 6 in this situation. I had multiple options here. I decided to get rid of the Ledger Shredder first. So I let Ragavan in my opponent's hand. I have the Kolagans and Inquisition to get rid of it next turn. Also the Fatal Push here. Sorry. All of this happened too fast. All of this happened too fast. So basically, what I did was play Inquisition on my opponent, and I saw the Murktide in my opponent's hand, and this was they also had heat in it, so this was my opponent had plus heat. So I this was the hand and plus heat. So I got rid. I played Inquisition, so I got rid of I think Holy Heat, and because I had push for Ragavan, but I decided to. I didn't have. I could had mana to hold push, so I decided to sack the peatland immediately. And luckily, with peatland, I drew into the Totsis, and I was able to discard Murktide Regent at the same turn, which meant I can't now kill the Ragavan. I had to let them hit me, but it was definitely more important to get rid of this Regent, which would win the game quickly. So I was successful to deal with Murktide in this situation, and now I untapped with three ways to kill a Ragavan, and my opponent was in a pretty bad situation. Okay, so they went for counterspell to save their Murktide, but I had a Fatal Push. It was useless, so they had a Spell Snare, which was useless for them. I just didn't have much luck with this Bloodbraid Elf Cascades during the league. Often cascading into Totsis when my opponent has no cards in hand, or in Fatal Push when they don't have creatures and similar stuff. But yeah, so with the 4 lands in hand, I just ulted the run and bolted them 3 times. Yeah, that was game 1 against my Murktide opponent with I think with Hiratsugu in Dati Endurance, pretty favorable matchup for me. Also have Grist to get rid of. I have Grist to get rid of Murktide. Also Lily of the Veil. Okay, so my opponent stuck on 1 mana, keep 1 lander, but I have multiple removals, so not very good. Not very good plan for from my opponent. I just played. Decided to go for a Hiratsugu first because Hiratsugu is a threat. Starts hitting for 3. I need to kill them as soon as possible. They go for subtlety. Still no second land. But I fetched the first to be able to put a grist on the top. And that's it, yeah. So my opponent draws another card, it's not a land, and they concede. Okay, so we'll now go check out the defeat. It was against a Hammer Time opponent. It was really close. It should be pretty good matchup for me. Uh, my opponent plays the Sentinel. When I'm on the play, I gladly always kill the Sentinel if I can. Okay, so they find the Kaja, and that's why I have to have to go for the decay here. My opponent has a second Stoneforge Mystic, and unfortunately they draw into Ornithopter. So my plan is to My plan in this situation was to kill one of their creatures, so when they so I can maybe draw a bolt, kill the Stoneforge, and then kill Kadra with another Lily activation. In this situation, I don't have much to do. I played Turak, discard the Sigarda, Blacksmith Fate. I need my removals. I need a bolt next turn to be able maybe try kill one of their creatures. But they have kill immediately, so very good hands from my opponent. In game one, I couldn't do much with the hand with my hand. Okay, but post board, I'm really in a good position against the Hammer Time decks. Like there's four Hiritsugu in my main. There are Tear Sunders, Bolts, Pushes, Abrupt Decay, Grists, Lilies. So many cards, so many cards. I almost don't have a win condition except for Raging Ravine, Seasoned Pyromancer, Grist, and Hiritsugu. Yeah, basically that's it. So all cards in hand are removals, and my opponent really um, need a lot of stuff to be able to win this. So I just go for Grist in my turn. My opponent doesn't have any creatures on the field, so they can do anything next turn. Yeah, unfortunately, those spell pierces were pretty good for my opponent, but still, there is not much they can do. I didn't want to hurry with Hiritsugu. Okay, so I again went for Hiritsugu. My opponent has another Pierce in hand, so a lot of Pierces for my opponent. I decide to go for the Giver kill here. Okay, so I definitely wanted to resolve my Lily. So my opponent concedes in this situation. It was time for game 3, and in game 3, it's a bit question. I could have maybe played a bit different. I had a pretty good hand like Tear Sunder, a Bolt Hiritsugu. This is pretty good. Again, I decided to get rid of this Sentinel immediately. Maybe I should have waited for some uh, great. But considering they had another Esper Sentinel here. Okay, so I was in a very good situation here. So I played Inquisition, my opponent. They had Kadra and the Stoneforge Mystic in hand uh, with the hand you see in my here at this point. It seems like pretty crazy that I succeeded to lose this game. I think I just misplayed on my next turn, so I should have just played the Hiritsugu and kill the Sentinel, Drum, and Shadow Spear. Let them draw a card, make them play their Kadra next turn with Stoneforge, then just use Tear Asunder on Kadra and be able to play Thoughtseize on the same turn. I think that would pretty much seal the game, but I didn't do it. I decided to go another way, so I discarded the Kadra, which was not a good. I think it wasn't a good decision because it wasn't a good decision because I had the answer in hand in Tier Thunder. So my opponent had one hammer in hand and top decked the Sigarda's Aid to win them the game. So I think it was misplay. Misplay from my side on that turn. When I didn't play Hiretsugu on that turn, that all went wrong. Just playing Totsis in that situation was bad because I had Tear Thunder to get rid of Kaldra, and I would force them into a gameplay pattern that I wanted, and I would get rid of their entire board, Shadow Spear, Drum, Sentinel, and just make them play their Kaldra, then have the Tear Thunder. Next turn, I would still have in that situation, I would still have Totsis in hand, so on that turn, I would be able to use the Totsis to either get rid of hammer, to probably get rid of the hammer which they hold it in their hands, so it would be their Sigarda 8 top deck wouldn't mean anything. Um, Also, on the next turn, I would have 4 mana, so that Spell Pierce wouldn't matter against my Tear Thunder on Kaldra. So yes, that decision to go Thoughtseize on that turn was just wrong and costed me the game and the trophy in this league. But sometimes you make uh, those wrong decisions, and that's it. Okay. Okay, so that's it. Really enjoyed this Boomer Jaunt gameplay and enjoyed the list. I think I played only one Murktide matchup, but I brought this one to because I anticipated a lot of Murktide and Breach matchups. I had a really a large amount of those lately. So, but okay, yeah, I'm happy with the list. I've had a great fun in these few leagues I played with it, and unfortunately, Goif, there's no Goif in the main. Of course, most of people playing Jund play Goif is one of the reasons they play it, and it's a really good creature for this deck. Really aggressive with and suits the configuration of the deck. But I really wanted to focus this version into beating the mentioned the breach decks, and yeah, so that was my plan with this, and I think I had a good success against Murktide, a few Murktide decks, and one Prowess deck with Breach. Won all of those matches, and Hiretsugu was just really good. I think it's difficult to play Goif in the main with Hiretsugu. It just really slows it down a lot and makes it much worse. It's sometimes difficult uh, to make your graveyard big again for Goif, so that's the reason why I play just two on the sideboard. Okay, that's it for this video, and until the next time, if you like the channel, if you want to support the channel, click the subscribe button, click the like button, and that's it. Okay, bye.